from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Friday, May 19th. So welcome to the new moon in Taurus day. Of course, we've been building in this Taurus energy for the last couple of days, and here we are at 11:54 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is when we will have the moon in Taurus reach its peak energy, aligning with the sun in Taurus, giving us our new moon in Taurus. If you haven't listened to the astro forecast, I'm going to recommend you do that. If you haven't downloaded your moon guide, I'm going to recommend you do that. If you haven't listened to your zodiac forecast, I'm going to recommend you do that, because that is where all the information is. You got to do the work. You have to understand the energies that we're in. You have to understand what this is providing us an opportunity for. And with the elemental energy profile in that moon guide, with all the different aspects taking place in that moon guide, you definitely want to get in tune. This is the very first new moon in Taurus that we've had in a very long time. Last year's was a eclipse new moon, and so now we are not only closing the door on eclipse energy, but we are being returned back to normal energy programming. Super great opportunity to set the tone here on what it is that we're closing the door on as far as the last 2-year cycle goes, and what it is that we're planting the seeds and intentions on building towards for the next 2. This is a great opportunity with all of this earth energy into planning and strategizing the actions needed in order to make the major change and transformations that we've been percolating on. So do the work. I invite you to do the work, align with the energies, get yourself together, get in alignment, and really tap into this next phase of building and creation. Not only do we have the new moon in Taurus taking place here today, but shortly thereafter, because it is taking place at 28 degrees, we will have the moon shift into Gemini energy, which should be a very interesting dynamic because, of course, Mercury rules over Gemini energy. We have Mercury direct now each and every single day, waking up to new levels of consciousness, new levels of awareness, new levels of piecing the things together until we kind of bust out of this post-shadow period, which, of course, will take us into June. This is also an interesting day because this is the very last day that Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passions, our desires, will be in Cancer energy. Thank goodness. We're preparing to move into the heart and soul of the zodiac in Leo energy here on the 20th. So we have this intensity to wrap up this particular life lesson, to really get down to the nitty-gritty of what it is that we were supposed to learn with Mars being in Cancer. And if you need a refresher on that, please go back, listen to the astro forecast that I put out when Mars moved into Cancer from that Gemini energy that we sat in for 7 months. Pretty big deal. We're definitely going to see a major shift take place when Mars moves into Leo, but we have to get through this new moon, this energy shift, this returning back to normal energy programming before we can actually dive into new passions, new inspirations, new desires. So there are 10 different aspects here today. 8 of them will involve the moon. Venus, right out of the gate, is going to make a very positive interaction with Jupiter. Jupiter, of course, planet of growth, expansion, belief, abundance, blessings. Just moved into this Taurus energy, and of course, Venus rules over Taurus energy, so she's kind of, bumping into Jupiter, trying to get the lay of the land and to kind of set the tone, set the rules on how she wants him to kind of operate while in her dominion. Venus, of course, in Cancer energy, really getting to the heart and soul of what it is that we need, our basic needs, what it is that we need to do for ourselves. Stop worrying about, other people showing up to save us. This is definitely a call to align with the hero within and recognize where it is that we have to kind of fill the voids within ourselves. Really take care of our own basic needs, especially when it comes to our emotions. Rearrange the home and the family dynamic in order for us to feel safe and secure in how it is that we're operating. We have a lot of different life lessons coming at us with Venus in this Cancer energy. And again, I would love for you to listen to the astro forecast and download the moon guide about this new moon that Venus rules over. She's in her rulership. This is Taurus season. She rules over the whole freaking season. She rules over this new moon. And why it's important is because we have to make the connection to when she retrogrades in July. at 28 degrees in Leo energy. There's a huge connection to be made here. And that's why I really invite you to do the work. Venus interacting with Jupiter in this way, we're definitely setting the tone on where it is that we have some changes to make, where it is that we have opportunities to grow, opportunities to build and create new systems, new routines, new structures in our lives that not only are going to help us to feel safe and secure, but help us to feel good, make us feel safe and secure and happy and joyful, and really kind of get back to the basic needs, the basic wants and desires. And we just need to understand that we are moving into a very potent time with Jupiter being in this Taurus energy for the next year. We have got to get to building. Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of communication and information, who is now direct in this Taurus energy, is going to sextile with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who of course is in Pisces energy. This is definitely going to bring us down to a much more realistic and practical, logical way of sorting through these new ideas, this new inspiration, these new insights. Of course, that Saturn energy always brings us down a couple of pegs, gives us a little bit of a reality check, if you will. And we're definitely snapping things together and seeing where it is that we are rising up to new roles and responsibilities, because of course, we just jumped some timelines through this eclipse portal. So we're definitely piecing together what it is that we have to do moving forward. But again, there's no fire energy in the cosmos. This is not a time of action. This is a time of thinking, contemplating, strategizing about the actions that we know that we have to take to build new structures and foundations, new, I'm going to say, circumstances in our lives that are more aligned with our heart and soul space, with our higher selves than the ego form that many of us have built our lives off of. The moon is going to sextile with Neptune. You want to talk about a little bit of inspiration. You want to talk about receiving new ideas and kind of insights on where it is that we need to be going from here. This is definitely a refreshing, a renewal, if you will, of our soul, of our spirit. We're trying to gain some optimism here. We're trying to visualize our dreams, our visions, our goals, and how it is that we want to actually bring them to life. The moon will semi-square with Venus, though. And again, Venus rules over this Taurus energy that the moon is in. A semi-square is not a good conversation. Right now, we're feeling the awkwardness, the uncomfortability, if you will, the uncertainty. And of course, that is absolutely needed while we're in the dark phase of the moon. The whole point of the new moon is to sit in the darkness, sit in the funk, feel the feels, especially where uncomfortability is concerned, in order for us to create a framework on an alternative on what it is that we would prefer to be experiencing. 11:54 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the moon in Taurus comes up to, bumps into, teams up with the sun in Taurus, which gives us our new moon. This is definitely a potent one. Again, I hate to be a nag, but you got to do the work. There's no better opportunity than to be doing the work right now as we're being kind of realigned, recalibrated, and given an opportunity for a clean slate, so to speak, with all of this earth energy. The moon then goes ahead, sextiles with Mars. This is a boost in determination, a boost in motivation. This is a beautiful energy for us to kind of get fired up in all the right ways. Again, Mars at these very, very last final critical degrees of Cancer, really putting us in a situation to listen to our intuition, to listen to what it is that we're being called to pursue, and really kind of ramp ourselves up to be prepared to take action when the universe actually supports in doing so. This is the last aspect that the moon in Taurus is going to make before going void, of course. And it's a very, very small window that the moon is actually void, which is a good thing because it brings a lot of uncertainty, a lot of sketchiness, a lot of instability, especially in our emotional realm. We lock into that Gemini energy at 2:49 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And our very first aspect after that happens is the moon in Gemini, trining, which is a beautiful energy, with Pluto, the great transformer, who is retrograde in Aquarian energy. We get some air on air action here. We gotta love it. So, you know, Pluto's whole type of mission here is to take us in our psyche and really examine some narratives, some blockages, some obstacles, some limiting beliefs, and really push us to create better boundaries in order for us to kind of see where things are possible once we get out of our own damn way. The moon in Gemini, of course, very curious, rapidly processing thoughts, pros and cons, and everything in between. And we are definitely having a change of heart, a change of scenery, a change of perspective. That is what the great transformer Pluto wants to see. And of course, this is a trine, a harmonization of these energies. And the moon, being our emotions, our unconscious self, we are rapidly moving through different stages of evolution just by having the influence of all of the energies being pressurized on us under this new moon. The moon in Gemini will go ahead, bump into Jupiter fresh in this Taurus energy, creating a little bit, I'm not going to say of a tension, but an opportunity to see two paths, two choices, two ideas, two visions, two dreams. That Gemini energy, represented by the twins, always offers us a very polarized, dualistic option and opportunity. But the Gemini energy needs to kind of work its way from those extremes in order to find a happy middle ground. What we're being offered here is some insight, some, I'm going to say, material to choose from on where it is that we want to go and grow from here. That's the whole point of Jupiter being in Taurus energy. We're all going to see a major glow up in our physical realms once Jupiter is done in this Taurus energy. And right now, the moon in Gemini is helping us to weigh our options on which direction, which path, what choice, what decision we want to make, and actually initiate a new pursuit in building, creating said circumstances. The moon will then semi-square with Chiron, the wounded healer. And of course, this isn't going to feel good. It never does. A semi-square is a little bit of a tension point. We have to understand where it is that we're not feeling so safe, so secure, so sure about ourselves. We have to understand where we're having an awkward adjustment period. We have to understand what it is that is still troubling us, what it is that's still creating an emotional blockage within us, preventing us from actually moving forward. But diving into these topics and themes, this uncomfortability, is going to reveal some aha moments. That's the stage that we're in right now. We're piecing it together. And from those aha moments, there is a certain amount of growth. There is a certain amount of healing that takes place when we bring an unconscious element into our awareness. Then we can actually start working with it. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon in Gemini, kind of connecting with the true node, the north node, if you will, in such a way that, again, provides us with a little bit of a choice point, a little bit of a crossroads, if you will. Now, that north node in Taurus is our soul path. It's our destiny point. It's the path that we need to be on in order to reach our soul's potential, our soul's mission, our soul's purpose. And of course, the moon in Gemini has a lot to think about and offers us two very extreme paths, decisions, directions in which we want to take this. And of course, because we have jump timelines, because we are being returned to normal programming here, we have some decisions to make. Are we going to stay the course that we've been currently on and settle for what it is that we've already got? Or are we going to bust out of this comfort zone and actually try something new and see what the universe throws at us just on the whim and the chance that we are not content to settle with our current circumstances? Of course, we have a lot of thinking to do. We have a lot of processing to do. And with some of the major shifts taking place as we close out Taurus season, still in this new moon energy, entering into Mars, moving into Leo just before Gemini season pops off, you best believe that we have a lot of information and details yet to actually emerge, yet to actually come into our awareness that will have a major impact on the decisions, the path, the direction that we're currently contemplating and taking.